From the Siouxland News Studio, the Wayne State Basketball Coaches Show with Sports Director Jordan Furby.
And welcome into another edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. We are joined by Wayne State women's basketball head coach Chris Meyer. Chris, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. It's great having us.
Well, it was a great week to be a Wildcat, as always, but a great week on the court for you guys. You guys are still 14th in the nation, moved to 14-1 with two big road wins. We'll start with Friday's game up at Minot State, a big 84-57 win. Season high 12 threes for you guys. You guys were knocking everything, just shooting lights out.
Yeah, we came back from Christmas break and we were in great shape. Had a great week of preparation and was just ready to play and got going on both ends of the floor early in the game, got a lot of confidence early in the game, and just proceeded throughout the course of the entire night to probably play as well as we have all year. So very proud of our players over break. You know, you always worry about what they're going to do when you don't have access to them, and you know, they responded great and played really well on both ends of the floor. So we're excited about where we're at.
Two top leading scorers in the game. Ellen Hansen had 18 points. Millie Niggling was 17. And the stat that just completely jumped out to me, you guys shot 77% in the second half. I mean, that's Villanova-esque from 85 almost. I mean, that is darn good, and you have to be proud of that.
Yeah, you know, you never expect that to happen. You know, no matter what's your highest expectation of them shooting, it never comes out to 70 or 80%, you know, maybe 50%. But, you know, we were confident and just got some open looks, and they really Minot really wanted to take away our inside game and doubled down a lot, and we had worked over break on handling that really well, and that led to a lot of easy shots on the outside. And when you get those shots, you got to hit them, and you know, some nights you don't. That night we did, and you know, just confident. Players played a lot of confidence and stepped up and hit shots when they needed to. Absolutely,
and that confidence kind of boiled over into the next day at U of Mary. A tough fought game, really kind of had to hold back rallies a couple times from U of Mary. But Ashton Yossi led the way with 19 points. Jordan Spencer had 14 points, and you guys got the 75-67 win. Just talk a little bit about kind of bouncing back, like we had talked about last week. Just that those back-to-back games are always tough to prepare for, but like you said, the confidence seems to be there for the girls.
Yeah, you know, we just found a way to win. You know, I think it was the true epitome of an ugly win, you know, which is a lot better than any kind of loss, right? So, you know, we didn't play very well, but we found a way to win. We were minus 26 rebounding. How can you be minus 26 rebounding and still win? And, you know, as I told him after the game, I mean, we did a lot of things really bad tonight, and we still won. That shows what type of team you are and what type of team you can be if we can be a little bit more consistent in some of the important areas. And, you know, they found a way. I think the whole theme for me on Saturday was they just found a way to win. You know, we'd get up double digits and then Mary would fight back, and we'd try to find a way to lose the game. And it seemed like we always made the play either on the offensive or the defensive end when we had to have it, and that's what allowed us to win the game. And, you know, confident group that found a way to win a game like that is always a great sign for where the future is headed.
Now, we talked a little bit about last week just kind of the diversity of the team and how different nights everybody can step up and be a leading scorer, and you see that kind of this past week with you know, Ellen on Friday and then Ashton on Saturday. Does that make it tough for you as a coach to kind of realize who has maybe the hot hand and how to kind of set the lineup that way?
Well, you know, we have basically the same starting lineup each and every night, so that part of it isn't a challenge because we kind of know that that's who's going to start each night. But you just go with the hot hand, and you know how we call a lot of set plays. And when you make a play, you're going to get the ball again. I mean, that's just kind of the way we coach, and our players understand that. When you're hitting shots and making plays, the ball's going to keep coming to you. And you know, I'm real honest with our players. Shooting is not an equal opportunity employment job. You know, our better players and our players that are making plays are going to get the most shots. And we're honest with them up front with that, and they know that and they understand that. But you know, it's never about that. Our players are really unselfish, and they're about winning. It's not about getting the most shots or who gets the most points or whatever. They want to win, they want to be successful, and whatever it takes is what they want to be.
And it's a good problem to have when you've got, you know, different players scoring 18, 20 points a night.
Yeah, well, you know, I always think it's really different. You know, I try to think about how you would game plan and defend us, and you know, there's a lot of different ways you can do it, and I don't think any of them are right if we're at our best. And that's what we spend a lot of time talking about our players with, that this is about you. If you show up and you're at your best, you've got a really good shot to win tonight. So just find a way to go out and be who you can be and keep it that simple.
Absolutely. It seems like it's worked so far. Well, time now for a quick break, but coming up next, we'll get Coach's thoughts on two big home games down at Rice Auditorium coming up tonight.
Siouxland News presents the Wayne State Coaches Show on Fox 44.
And welcome back to the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're joined by women's head coach Chris Meyer. Chris, kind of nice after a little bit of a long road trip for you guys to be back home in the friendly confines of Rice Auditorium. Last night you guys played a good game against Minnesota Crookston. Tonight you welcome in Bemidji State. What's kind of the biggest things that you notice with this team that could present a challenge for you guys tonight?
Well, they're really good offensively. They've got a dominant post player inside, Kate Wormack, and they've got a lot of shooters on the outside. So, as a coaching staff, when we were preparing, we always look for that. What can they do right around the basket, and what are those three-ball percentages like? And they're really good at both. So we know it's going to be a challenge for us to defend them tonight. We feel like maybe they're not one of the better teams defensively in the league. So we think that we can put a big number up on them tonight, and we need to go out and make that happen. And we just need to continue to play confident and continue to play our best basketball, and we really feel like that gives us a great shot to win each and every night out.
And obviously confidence is pretty high right now for the team with a couple putting a winning streak together like you guys have. But what are some of the things that maybe you haven't seen from this team that you guys still would like to see out of this team and that you need to work on? Because there's always coaches, they're always going to find something that the team needs to work on.
Well, we just need to be a little bit more consistent in all areas of the game. The last coaches show we talked about our offensive balance was good, but we still need to hit more shots, and we're leaving a lot of points out there. Some nights we're just not quite as good as what we need to be defensively or what I think we can be defensively. Rebounding is really an area of concern. When you get out rebounded by 26, that's a major concern and something that we focused a lot on this past week in practice, and just need to tighten up every aspect of the game, really. Just continue to get better. Teams that are off to the kind of start that we're off settle sometimes, or they can understand that they've got to continue to get better and understand that teams are coming for them and they've got to get better and prove that they can sustain the start that they've had. So I think that's the big challenge for us, is just to show that we understand how much better we need to get each and every day.
Now this is just something that I noticed just going through kind of the box score, and it's probably something minor, but just wanted to ask you, it seems like with the game against U of Mary, points in the paint was where they really kind of had a lot of success. Is that something you guys maybe need to shore up this week?
Well, defensively, we're always going to make sure that perimeter is covered. We run a lot of zone and almost primarily all matchup zone. So, teams I think a lot of times think that they're going to be able to get a lot of open shots on us, and that's just not the case when we're at our best. When we're at our best, we're going to lock that perimeter down, and we're going to play you one-on-one in the inside. So the ball's going to be able to go in there. Once it goes in there, you just got to make sure that you make it as difficult for them to hit the shot as possible, and sometimes that's an area of concern as well. They're getting the ball too deep. A 10-foot, 12-foot shot with your back to the basket is a very difficult shot. 3, 4, 5 feet, that's an easier shot, and that's the kind of consistency right there that we need to tighten up.
So it was a stat, but it wasn't really a telling stat. It's kind of almost by design how your defense plays.
Yeah, you got to, if you're going to make sure you lock the inside down and take that away, you can do that. I mean, we can double down, we can double from the backside, we can full front it, we can do a lot of things to be able to take that away. Something's got to give, and a lot of times that's going to be wide open perimeter shots on the outside that the kids at this level are going to hit, and so we don't want to do that necessarily each night. Depending on how well that post player is, we can double if we have to. But the game plan on Saturday was to let Linda Murray get her points. We just weren't going to get beat by other players, and our players executed it well.
That seemed to work out pretty well.
Well, we won, so that's always the telling stat. Again, we didn't play very well. You get out rebounded by 26. There's no way you can say you played well. So. We found a way, and that's the exciting thing. All
right, well, any way you can get it, Coach. I want to thank you for joining us. We'll see you a little bit later in the show. Coming up next, we'll hear from men's coach Brian Dolan. The Wildcat men also had a great weekend. We'll hear from him coming up next. And welcome back. We're now joined by men's coach Brian Dolan. Coach, kind of nice. We're talking about a winning streak for the boys, and it was an exciting weekend for the men. Friday, just an absolute barn burner of a game. I mean, came down. And it took extra time, a 74-70 overtime win versus Minot State. And you had two maybe unlikely two unlikely players that kind of stepped up and played really well. But I have to imagine that maybe this is the spark that they've been looking for.
Well, hopefully we've had good practice since we got back from Christmas, so I'm not surprised with how we played. We kind of have that next man up attitude, and we have 11 guys suiting up, and it's there's going to be a point in time when you're called on, and how are you going to respond to that? And we've talked about that since day one. So. Gave those guys a shot, be it foul trouble, energy level, not making shots, whatever, but those two got an opportunity. They went in there and provided a spark and got the rest of our guys going, and we did a good job. We got down double figures, but then we managed to crawl back and get the lead by half, and I'm not sure I don't know if we got down 10 in the second half or not, so must have, and got it back, and we drove up to play for Joel there at the end of the regulation that he executed and got a wide open layup and forced overtime. And I felt really good going into overtime. I could see the look in our eyes that we were gonna get that one done, and we did. So it felt good.
Yeah, and the two guys we're talking about are freshman Joel Heesh and Kenny Finko, who had 13 points and 11 points respectively. Like you kind of said, it was a game of runs. I mean, you guys went on a great run to take the lead at halftime, 33-32. They came back with another one in the second half to retake the lead. But then just talk a little bit more about that play with Joel. I mean, he tied it up with 5.6 seconds left. And that's really what kind of, I think, kind of sparked everything going into overtime.
Yeah, it's a play we've run for a few years, and you know, we use it. We don't use it regularly. We just have it in, and there's about 5 different options off of it, and I just felt comfortable. I could see I thought they felt like we were going to go to Dooley, and I felt like Joel was making plays at that time, and I wanted to put the ball in his hands and just see. And we had a shooter in the corner, so he had an option that if they cut him off on the drive, that he had someone to kick it to in the corner, which is Ryan Rolfson, for a game winner. So I thought we put him in a position to hopefully make a good play if he made the right decision. And it was just like the party in the Red Sea. No one moved. He faked the handoff, and then all of a sudden, 4 Minot guys were going that way, and 1 went that way, and Joel went that way. And he did tell me after the game he panicked a little bit because their big guy who blocked a couple shots earlier in the game was coming across the lane. So, but he finished, and he did a nice job. So that's good confidence builder for him and a freshman. Kenny's the one that really got the spark started in the first half. Came off and we ran the same play back to back, and they went under the ball screen both times, and he whacked out 2 threes, and that kind of got us going in the first half. So it was good to see everybody contribute.
Absolutely, and in overtime too for you guys, it seemed like free throws were the big point. You guys went 5 of 6 in the overtime period and 78% on the game. I mean, anytime you can shoot 75 plus, you got to feel pretty good about your chances.
Yeah, absolutely. We did a better job this weekend of getting in the line. We didn't. Minot averages 32 attempts a game. They got there 37 times. We knew that was going to be an issue, but we got to the line more than we typically do. And then the next night against Mary, we got to the free throw line more than they did, which I think is the first time all year we've been in that situation. Yeah. So you've got to do that. Those are free points, and you got to make teams foul you while you try not to foul them. And it's a tougher thing to do than it is to, we can talk about it all you want, but it's tough to do.
Easier said than done. Then the next night, I mean, I can't imagine trying to play another game after that high energy, but you guys came back versus the U of Mary and got another big win, 66-57. Long led the way with 16 points, and just another really hard-fought win for you guys, especially on the boards. You guys crashed it pretty well.
Yeah, we did. We've been working on both these teams that we play this weekend. A lot more athletic than we are, and we've been working on since Christmas break on how we're going to have to defend a little different. And we got down 10-2 and ended the half on a 26-8 run and got a 10-point lead. And our guys did a nice job to play through some ugly basketball in the second half. We weren't playing our cleanest basketball, but our guys did a really good job of managing possessions on the offense and defensive end. Yep, we gave up some open looks, but they were pretty deep in the shot clock. And we weren't trying to stall, but in our offense we can slow it down a little bit. And I thought we executed pretty well in the second half and took time off the clock on every possession before we got the shot off, and so we managed the game pretty well in the second half. I thought we had a couple silly turnovers, but we did enough to win the game, and that's at the end of the day, it's all that matters.
Absolutely, it's all that matters is that you guys got the win, and you're sitting here pretty. So coming up next, we'll talk with Coach and get his thoughts on the game tonight against Bemidji State. Stay tuned. And welcome back. We are joined by Wayne State men's head coach Brian Dolan. Coach, nice to kind of be back in the friendly confines of Rice Auditorium for you guys. Last night you guys played a game against Minnesota Crookston. Tonight you're facing Bemidji State. Tip-off is at 6 o'clock tonight. Some of the biggest things you guys are looking to, I mean, obviously you're trying to build on that momentum that you guys got in 2 games last week on the road.
Well, the biggest thing that Bemidji brings to the table is they're just tough and experienced group. And so they play a physical style of basketball. You'd rather play Bemidji first semester than second semester with the way games are officiated. They kind of tend to loosen up after the Christmas break, so that's going to be an advantage for them tonight. But, they shoot the ball decently. They run a lot of ball screen action stuff we've been working on for the last couple of weeks. So we're prepared and we're ready to go with it, but we're a younger, more inexperienced group. So how we are going to handle them coming in and probably pedal the metal right off the bat, I'll be interested to see how we handle that, because I don't think we can afford to recover from a slow start against a team like Bemidji. So we're going to have to be ready to go from the tip.
Yeah, but as far as confidence goes, I mean, just like we were talking with Coach Kielsmeyer, you have to feel pretty good. I mean, it's amazing what 2 big wins on the road can kind of do for the team. And you've got a couple nice young players that are almost playing with a little bit of reckless abandon. They're kind of just going in and giving you that spark that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, confidence is a good thing. And we tell our guys all the time, we can't give it to you and we can't take it from you. It's something that comes from within. So they should have a little bit more confidence in the way that they're playing. And again, we've had good practices. They've earned the right to have that confidence. But you also have to keep it in check. Every night's a different script. Doesn't matter who played well on Friday when you're going into Saturday's game. All that matters is everybody's on the same page again and everybody understands understands you have a role tonight, and you need to do the role to the best of your ability. And sometimes that role might be, hey, your role is always to knock down open shots. Well, some nights you get more open looks than others. So just make sure that, you may have had 12 last night. Don't go hunt for 12 tonight. Yeah. Take what they give you and have confidence that you're good at your role. And when we need your role, step up and dominate it. So that's a big key for us moving forward. That's the next big thing we've got to learn.
Now moving forward, this may be a question maybe better answered next week, but do you kind of see the wheels start to be turning? I mean, we talked about it. 2 big road wins can kind of do a lot for a team's psyche, but do you kind of see maybe with the freshmen starting to play a little bit better, the role players, the starters, everything starting to start to click a little bit?
I think that can happen. It's stuff I've been talking about since the beginning of the season. Trust is trust, and I've got to trust them. They've got to trust me. I'm developing a little bit more trust in them as they are in me. I don't think, you talked about our play at the end of the Minot game. We couldn't have executed that 2 weeks ago because I'm drawing it up in the timeout, where's the trust level at? To me, that showed a lot that they're buying into us now as coaches a little bit more, and to put Joel in that situation means we're buying into him a little bit more as a player and the other guys in general. So I think that's what we're seeing right now, and that's why we're playing a little bit better. I've told them we're one of the few teams in the league that can honestly get better every day. New coaches, staff, and new players that we shouldn't plateau this year just because of the position that we're in. We should be able to get better every single day that we're on the floor, whether it's shoot around, whether it's a game, film, or practice, and that we've got to take advantage of that because we can be a much better team still in the middle of February, the end of February, and then it just takes a couple wins and you got a chance.
And that's always fun because it just makes every night kind of exciting because you almost really don't know what to expect, and that's the beauty and the fun of it too.
Oh yeah, as coaches we love not knowing what's going on. It's really great for our health and all the above, so it's really good. Yeah.
That's why you got into coaching, right?
It wasn't the money.
Well said, well said. Well, coming up next, we'll get both coaches' thoughts. We'll bring them both back on set, and we'll get their thoughts on 3 keys to victory over Bemidji State. Stay with us. And welcome back. It's time now to get both coaches' thoughts on the game coming up tonight. Coach, Meyer, we'll start with you. You guys play Bemidji State this evening. Tip-off is at 4 o'clock down at Rice Auditorium. 3 biggest things you're looking for from this team. Obviously, confidence is pretty high for the girls right now, but kind of 3 things that maybe need to get done to get the win.
Well, the first thing is make sure we're not complacent. Just continue to understand we've got to get better and continue to play well and continue to win games for us to be able to accomplish the things we really want to get accomplished this year. And the second thing is our offensive ball movement. We really feel like we can put up a big total on them tonight, be confident, play inside out. They double us down, kick back out, and get those open shots on the outside like we've been doing really well. The third thing is to be at our best defensively. We talked earlier how good they are on the inside. They got a lot of shooters on the outside, so our defensive rotation on the outside needs to be there. We need to make sure that it's difficult for them to score on the inside and just overall just be at our best defensively.
Absolutely. Coach Dolan, kind of same thing. You guys are going to be facing Bemidji tonight after the women get done. Kind of 2 biggest things you're looking for. I'm assuming confidence is going to be high for your guys as well.
Well, we're going to have to just continue to play better. I mean, that's the thing. They're a lot more athletic, like I said earlier, and they're tougher than us. So we're going to have to defend the paint because they're going to really try to attack, and they've been shooting the ball well on that. So our ball rotations are guarding the ball, and our rotations is going to be huge, something we've really stressed the last week and a half. So we're going to have to continue to stress that and really execute. It's really easy when you get tired. It's really easy when you get nervous. It's really easy when you get tight to get selfish, and not necessarily in a bad way, but you get tunnel vision. You get stuck on your man, or you get stuck watching the ball rather than reacting to the ball. And those are things that are very important for us not to do tonight, and to make sure we just play good team defense.
And it's also big. I mean, both of you guys. I mean, you're into the conference schedule and stuff now, and this is where these games in January and February coming up are going to be the key between competing in the conference and not.
Well, it's again, as I said the first time, you just have to continue to want more. You cannot be satisfied with a good start or feel like you've accomplished something. Being 14-1 is great, but at the end of the day, you haven't accomplished a thing, and you've got to continue to get better and continue to win games if you want to get to where you want to get. So that's the exciting and the challenging part about this time of year.
And Coach Dolan, you guys are just you're fighting. You're trying to make a name in the conference this year.
Yeah. We use a golf analogy a lot. Right now we're on the tee box. So we hit a good drive. Now we're getting to the point of how good is that drive if you don't have a good approach shot. So we're Coach Kilsmeyer's team's putting right now. We're still out in the fairway a little bit. So we got a little bit of work ahead of us, but I like where we're headed.
But there's a lot of ways to make par.
Yes, there is.
All righty, coaches, we want to thank you again for joining us, and thank you for joining us this week. As always, we will see you back here next week on the Wayne State Coaches Show, and we want to wish best of luck to both teams. And as always, go Cats. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Wayne State Coaches Show, presented by Siouxland News on Fox 44.